Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec, and before anything else, I would like to thank each and every one of you who are listening to the show right now. If this is your first time, then I hope that you learned something, then I hope that you enjoy this episode. And if you do, then go ahead and check out the other episodes because those episodes have a lot of interesting ideas that can help you make better decisions for yourself and for the people around you. And if this is your nth time of listening to the podcast, if you are an avid listener of the podcast, then I am thanking you personally. Then I am thanking you from the bottom of my heart. And I just want to give a huge shout out for the people who are sharing the podcast on their Instagram, on their TikTok, on their Twitter, on their Facebook, anywhere. And especially to the people who are leaving this podcast a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. I appreciate you. I love reading all of your comments, your insights, your reviews all together. I love them so much. So thank you so much. And for today's topic, let me just fix myself. So for today's topic, we are going to talk about the illusion of perfection. We live in a society where perfection is the ideal state. Like when we go to social media, we can see that picture perfect models of Instagram, of bloggers, right? And we can see the comments saying, "You're so perfect. Oh, that hair is so perfect. Your dress is perfect." And we go to just traditional media and we can see the ads and say that this product is perfect for you. This can help you make your skin perfectly clear. This product can help you smell perfectly attractive. Use this to be perfect, use that to be perfect. Everything is in the chase of being perfect. But the truth is, it's all just an illusion. Most of the time, our minds go into this state where it tricks us to believing that we can be perfect and we should be perfect. But the truth is, we are everything except perfect. And I know that nobody wants to feel they're imperfect. But most of us are having a hard time accepting that we are. Perfectionism is defined as the pursuit of reaching one's goal or one's dreams without allowing yourself to have that allowance to make mistakes. Perfectionism can be defined as when you see the world black or white. Perfectionists experience enormous stress and anxiety because they have high goals, high standards, and they will feel devastated if they don't reach it. They set unrealistic high goals, and in return, when they fail, and they will eventually fail, they'll become more prone to depression. They will be devastated and sad and down. I remember a story of a writer named Tom. And Tom was a novel writer. And he was making a decent amount of money. He could feed himself. He could buy a decent house. He could buy some things that he wanted. And he could live off what he makes writing novel fictions, but he was never a best-selling author. So that was his goal, to be the number one on the New York Times best-selling list. And so he tried and tried and tried and tried again. He wrote and he wrote and he wrote again until one of his novels got the attention of more people and his sales went up. And when his sales went up, New York Times came to him and tried to interview him, and he was appearing on some TV shows, on some national shows, and in return, his sales went higher. And eventually, his novel went to the top 25 of the New York Times best-selling list. He had more success than he had ever have. He had more money than he'd ever have. But for him, being on the top 25 of the New York best-selling list was a failure because he wasn't number one. And no matter how great his novel got, his success got, the fact that he isn't the best, he felt like he was a failure. And I could also remember that there was this woman, and she received her annual review, and the review said she worked hard, and the company was willing to give her a 5% raise. And she was so happy, so she called her boyfriend and she said, I got a 5% raise. They said I did well in my job and I want to celebrate. So the boyfriend said, okay, when you get home, we'll try to we'll celebrate. We'll buy a bottle of champagne and we'll celebrate, right? And so on her way home, she was in the parking lot, and she overheard this conversation with his from his coworker, and the coworker said, I just got my annual review and they said that I did a great job and they were willing to raise my salary for 10%. Isn't that great? It's like double than most people get. And when she heard that, she was devastated. She was sad. And when she went home, she not she didn't celebrate with her boyfriend. She cried about having this achievement of having a raise of 5%. And these stories highlights the nature of perfectionism, where good isn't just good enough until you become the best. And that's the thing about people. We try to be perfect as much as we can, and this pursuit of being perfect turns us back from actually achieving happiness and success in whatever field that we want to be in. Now I'm not saying that perfectionism is a really bad concept at all. We can get one aspect. There's one positive upside that I see from perfectionism. It's having the determination to be the best. But I believe that the perfect formula for success and happiness is to be determined to be the best, but be super open if you're not. Acknowledging and accepting that you may not be the best, but you still have that determination to be the best. When we allow ourselves to be imperfect, when we accept that we are flawed and imperfect, we allow ourselves to soak into the whole human experience. Because to be imperfect is to be human. If you are perfect, you have Barbie's look, you have Ken's look, you have everything you ever wanted. Everything you ever wanted. Do you think that will make your life beautiful? The pursuit of having a meaningful and satisfying journey is the meaning of life. That's all we ever wanted, but we are all stuck in this illusion that we need to be the best, we need to be the perfect. And that takes away the right for us to be happy with what we have right now. If we are in this pursuit of being perfect, then we don't allow ourselves to have failures in our lives. And I've said this a lot of times over and over again. Failures are the best teachers that we have. When we accept imperfection in our lives, we allow growth and learning to be possible. Because how can we ever know that we shouldn't touch a hot stove if we don't get close to it and probably feel that pain of being burnt? Like it or not, failing and making mistakes is the main way and probably the best way for us to be better. It's through falling down flat on the ground. Just like when we were babies. We don't say to babies when they don't learn how to walk, when they come out of the wombs of their mothers, and we say that they can't talk or they can't walk, oh, this baby's too imperfect. We don't say that to babies, right? Because they still need to learn about life. They need to experience how to fall down on the ground and get back up again so that they can learn how to properly walk. And that's the same of all of us. If we are too obsessed with being perfect, we don't allow these small mistakes, even big mistakes, for us to teach lessons that we need to understand as we go forward with our lives. And so, what I want to share with you in this podcast is for you to actually accept openly your humanness. And to be human is to accept your imperfections. I know, I really know from experience that failure is really frustrating. But it's also temporary. And eventually, it will teach you lessons and it will give you wisdom that you will never ever get from being right. Because if we think about it, if we all had the answers, how can we ever ask any more questions? And so please, in this podcast, in this episode, I want you to apply self-compassion, to accept, to hug yourself, to tap yourself if you are imperfect. If you are imperfect, if you have mistakes, if you have flaws, if you don't have things that you don't like about yourself, then tap yourself on the shoulder and say, hey, it's okay. This is being human. To accept my flaws and imperfection is being human. And it's okay. Always remember that you will learn a lot more from having one failure compared to learning from 100 success. Apply self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Accept all of your flaws and imperfection and accept that you need to be imperfect. And ultimately, stop chasing for the illusion of perfection. And that's all I have for you for this episode. I hope that you learned something from this episode. I hope you be kinder to yourself, and I hope you become more self-compassionate to yourself. And if you like this episode, then go ahead and share it with the people that you love. And please, always be kind. And again, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you like this episode, don't forget to leave this podcast a rating and review, and don't forget to share it on your Instagram and share your insights. If you connected with it, share me all your insights and comments about this episode. And again, maraming salamat sa lahat ng nakinig. This is Alec Cuenca. This is Small Talk Podcast. Small conversations with huge impact. And I hope that you have a great day. Peace. Talk to you next episode.